Hello, Matthew.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you on this fine day?
Man, chilly. Unusually cold, considering it's been like 75. Now it's 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, trees aren't looking that good. But anyway,
So, there's a reason why we're here today.
yeah, I can imagine.
Can you tell me what is, in your opinion, what the worst gang in America is? Your opinion.
Oh, God, I really don't know. I mean, all I can spout out is maybe something I've, MS-13? Is that a big one?
It is
yeah,
a big one.
I don't know enough.
You know,
to,
there's the Bloods, the Crips, and all
yeah,
them.
sure. I've heard those names. They make the news, but I'm sure there are many others that are maybe even more notorious than that.
There is one that's making its way up the public ladder, so to speak.
They're making their mark, in other words.
Oh yeah, they're making their mark, and now it's getting really publicly known. And that gang or group of gangs is known as the Deputy Gang.
Oh, that gang. Yeah, I've heard about that. But aren't they getting ripped apart?
No, they're getting covered up.
Really? That's not what
Yes.
it seemed like in the news, but go for it.
Yes. Apparently, they got a new chief in LA, and he vowed to take down the gangs, and now he's making excuses for them. And the gangs are all police officers.
Yeah, I know. With tattoos
Actually-
and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, actually act like a gang. They wear
Yeah, they
tattoos.
retaliate on the ones that don't want to be a part of them and all that.
In order
yeah.
to get into the gang, you have to commit an act of violence on an innocent person,
Right.
whether it be beating them up or killing them. That is your job to get in, and you're a police officer.
Because now you got
supposedly
skin in the game. Yeah.
right. And the thing is, they prey on low income housing.
Yeah, because they're not going to
communities.
be able to afford to fight back. They can't do anything.
And I wouldn't give a shit if it was just in LA, because I'm in New York. I don't care. But
Wow.
well,
Anyway.
and let's be honest.
I hear you. Yeah, go for it.
But they're growing. They're branching out. They're reaching other states. The Beltway states, the Bible Belt.
Oh, yeah, down here, of course. There you go.
They're branching out to places like Ohio, which is amazing that anyone would really want to do that in Ohio. But okay.
Sure, right.
But they're growing in size, and they're growing in size because no one gives a shit. Here's what I mean: you have all these people saying defund the police, then you have the other side saying, but you can't defund the police. Who's going to stop all this crime? And then you have the realists who say, but the crime is being committed by the police,
I know. Yeah.
and nobody can get on the same page to put an end to this bullshit.
Another part of our society that we just let go on its own, unpoliced, so to speak.
Right. Well, see, here's what I think.
We figured they were the police. They're the good guys. They ain't
Yeah.
doing anything wrong. Sure.
You know, when we grew up in East Greenbush,
Mhm.
the police were the good guys. Well, most of them.
There were some I liked, some I didn't like, but I never heard of anybody getting their ass beat, stabbed, shot, whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't say I got my ass beat. I got my head slammed into an air conditioner a couple times, but I was a troubled kid, so it is what it is.
Can't say that happened to me. I could run fast.
No. Once they got me, your boy Bobby Kroll smashed my head into a.
I remember.
Yeah. So my thing is, we got rid of one chief because he was not doing the job of getting rid of them, but instead he was covering up for him. They got a new chief who basically doesn't even see the situation. So now, Is it too big of a stretch for the governor to call in like the federal police to break this all down and
I was
start it
thinking
from
DOJ, something needs to happen. Sure.
Because
Fire
I mean-
them all. Put them in jail.
investigate every single one of those motherfuckers who've been shooting people for no reason, tasing them, beating them up, leaving them for dead.
I hate to say it, but good apples or not, everyone in that police department needs to be suspended. Start with all new police officers, maybe even from some other place that have been trained and can, and deal with it while an investigation is sorted out.
But I think it has to be a place that's not. I think it has to be out of state because the corruption could go statewide.
No, I think it should begin from the federal level.
Yeah,
The federal
also-
gov needs to step in, DOJ.
Yeah, but
And,
I mean the replacement of the police. The police should be replaced by people from out of state.
No, federal officers is what I'm thinking. Until they can hire local people that they can vet and get the right people trained, whatnot, into the positions locally for them to leave. I think federal will be temporary just until they can resolve the situation. That's it. Then they leave. But they can leave them with a fresh start, make sure everything's running smoothly, before they go. But yeah, something needs to happen big. You shut that place down. And
I mean, they even have
everything they've
gang
contaminated.
names. They even have gang names. And
Yeah, I know. I've heard.
And
They're
I
pretty
didn't. Yeah,
nasty
I think.
names, some of them.
I think one of them is the Grim Reapers. Another one is
Yeah.
like the Bandoleros or band whatever.
What's it say about crime in these areas too? It's like, more the people that are deprived are getting more so. They can't get help when they call 911. Heaven forbid they're acute or something. They got that as a straw against them now, because the cops are going to say, well, hey, if you want something for something, you gotta pay. I'm sure that's been happening too. That's bullshit. We got to stop that.
But now, but see,
All
that
of it.
brings me back to these congressional hearings about rising crime in blue states as opposed to red states.
Yeah. I know that's all smoke screens. It's actually the other way around. Crime is up in red states and not down in blue states. That's reality.
And my question is, how much of that upward crime is caused by the police themselves?
And the lies that the other side is spreading too. They're going hand in hand.
And with a
Corruption goes with it.
with a corrupt system like the LAPD,
Mm-hmm.
how far up does it go? Does it go to the DA where if the cops get caught, they're going to get let off? If somebody pushes a lawsuit, that they're going to be, it's going to be a slam dunk for the cops because they have everyone in their pocket?
It's going to be a slam dunk as long as there's no evidence that the public has access to. So yeah, in situations like that where the public doesn't have, or no one used their cell phones, or they didn't, obtain or steal that information.
I mean, are we
Yeah.
talking about mafia type stuff where
Worse.
witnesses disappear?
Yeah, could be worse than that. Yeah, I'm sure
Complainants
witnesses
end up
disappear.
dead?
Complainants disappear. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a serious
And-
problem.
This should not be something that we should worry about in the United States, of all places.
Oh, you got enough stuff to worry about when you get pulled over. Now you got to worry about just
If you're going to
somebody
get shot in the head.
picking you out of randomness to harass, or otherwise, that's not.
They
cool.
shot a guy 3 times in the back as he was running away. Said he had a gun, and then they said, "Well, it was a ghost gun." We
I
didn't. we
All
thought we
cars
saw
ought to
it.
come with 360-degree cameras on the car itself, and that go automatically to the cloud, or wherever you want it to go. Yeah, then that'll help that a lot. Well, what else do we have? If it wasn't for our video recordings, man, many people we'd never even know about this.
Well, according to sources, the LAPD has, in one of their shootings of an innocent person, they accidentally turned off all their body cams and their car cams before they exited the car to approach the suspect.
And that's another thing. They can't. These systems need to be on. Once you clock in, it's on. It doesn't turn off. You can edit the personal information out later if you need to from a like a FOIA request or something like that. Other than that, though, it's wirelessly transmitted. It's not on a chip on your body where you can destroy the camera. It's as soon as it's observed, it's gone. It's just up into the cloud to a police database someplace.
Now, some people may be sitting here watching this video and saying, "How is that the worst gang in the USA?" I'll tell you how. Because those are the people we trust from the day we're born. We're taught to trust them.
You run to them.
We instill our trust that they will keep us safe and secure, and they betray us and do bodily harm to innocent people.
Stomp on your rights. Forget that.
With the Comancheros, with the whatever it is, M13, MS13, and the Bloods and the Crips. You expect it. You expect it. If I'm going to live in a neighborhood filled with Bloods and Crips, I expect drive-by shootings and random shit going on. But if I'm going to live next to a police department,
if you live in those neighborhoods and you're somewhat respectful to them, they're going to leave you alone.
But if I live next to a police department, I shouldn't have to worry that they're going to bust in my house and kill me.
Right, just because they like the color blue that day or whatever it is.
And that's what makes this the worst game.
Right. Again, that's why voting matters. Because the people you put in power, they need to be strong to deal with this kind of stuff. It's like putting out a fire,
I know that I hate to say this because I've done a lot of work with them, but I know that there's some corruption in the NYPD. Okay, I'll just leave that at that. But it's not to the extent where they're just running around randomly killing people.
Yeah, that's true too. But I don't want to hear the good apple argument anymore, because those good apples, they're not good apples if they turn a blind eye to whatever it is they see that's going on. They're no longer good apples.
They may not have a choice.
For if we get some legislation that's coming, yeah.
Okay, they may not have a choice. It may be if you rat on us, your whole family dies.
Well, or it means that if you don't and it gets found out, everyone involved that didn't speak up is going to be indicted as well. You can look at that twofold. That's what we need, though. We need some indictments if that's the case. These gangs, this bullshit's going on with the police departments. We need a system in place that can shut down the police department, replace the personnel, get rid of the criminals, and get the proper local people in there that can do the job. Correct.
Would you want seasoned veterans in there or rookies?
Oh, under this circumstance, rookies.
Yeah.
I don't care. Rookies are fine as long as they're honest, willing to learn their job, and whatever. We need honest people in there. It's to protect and serve, man. Not to say fuck you and put your hands up or I'm going to shoot your ass because I feel like I'm having a bad day. You're pissing me off. We don't want that. I don't need that. Or ripping me out of my car because I got a fucking taillight out. And he doesn't like my attitude when I tell him what the fuck is going on. Maybe I'm having a bad day too. I'm allowed to. So is he, but not the point of taking my life for it.
Today I watched a video of a cop pulling over a gentleman, asked for his ID and his license registration. The gentleman asked, "Why did you stop me? What do you need it for? What did I do?" Mm-hmm. And the cop said, "I'll tell you after you give me your stuff."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'm not doing that." And this went back and forth. And then the cop said, "You know what? Step out of the car." And he arrested him for not providing ID.
Yep.
Never told him why he pulled him over.
And that is something he's supposed to do, is tell you why.
And
it can have articulable, not that I can say the word, suspicion. Yeah.
Well, it seems like these gangs of police work backwards. It's called backwards prosecution. What they do is they'll arrest you, and then they'll find a crime that they want to pin on you.
Mhm.
Instead of finding a crime and catching a crime and finding out who did it.
Right, they'll look through your car. This dude's got drugs in there somewhere, or something illegal.
Well,
Or
it's
in some
not- it's
cases,
not-
they planted. They've been caught planting it too.
It's not only that, there was a guy who was pulled right off the street, not charged with anything. They held him for 48 hours, and then they came up with a charge that had nothing to do with anything, because that they wanted him. They wanted to send a message to him.
Yep. No, we gotta stop that bully power trip stuff too. That's gotta stop. We don't vet our officers enough. We don't. Maybe we don't have enough people apply. Maybe that's the problem. They're only getting a certain count. It's like McDonald's. You're getting the dude behind the counter because, well, he's the best out of whoever applied, or chief for that matter. So maybe that's the same with police. Maybe we need to stop giving them McDonald's salary. That's $15 an hour doesn't cut it. For a police officer, in my opinion.
Okay.
And they need better benefits too. For what they do to put their lives on the line, they need better, better hours, things like that.
I don't think any of that should be discussed until they have better people in there.
Oh, of course. But that's how you attract, and that's how you keep your people. You pay them, they give you benefits, and then that's how you get seasoned people, veterans.
I don't know. To me, that's ass backwards thinking. Is they're taking bribes because we're not paying them enough. So if we pay them more, then we'll take the bribes. No, they're just dirty fucking cops.
I'm saying let's fix what's broken, but going forward, we got to fix the other end of it too. That's why they're corrupt and undertaken in the first place. Something happens where they couldn't afford something that was important to them. They couldn't make their mortgage payment. They couldn't make their rent payment. They couldn't make a car payment, something like that. And then all of a sudden, wow, it's pretty easy.
I have a creative solution. Every 6 months, rotate them out to a different precinct. Don't let them stay long enough to make those connections.
Either that or, I don't know about making the connection, because I think the camaraderie is an important part of who you trust that you work with. So I don't know, but maybe rotating them off the street and into a classroom, into an office situation for a while, get rid of the stress of the streets too. They
see, the problem is you're sitting here saying the camaraderie is important, yet there's a lot of police who aren't in these gangs who have no camaraderie, except for with the honest cops, and when they call for backup, they're left out in the dust.
But you're talking about a situation that I'm talking about what's in place that's a little off. It's got a few problems with it. This is how you fix that situation. You're talking about something that the entire system is broken. It's broken.
It is.
There's no fixing it. You have to tear it all down, fire everybody, or whatever you got to do through the process. But whether you have good or bad, all of it has to go. Because there's too many memories, there's too much whatever. Wipe it all out, clean slate, whiteboard.
Right.
But then when you start it all up again, you can't start with the same problems that convince these people of geez, this is pretty easy. I just made 50 grand and no one saw me. You got to make that not matter. You got to make sure they have good health benefits. They don't have to worry about it. They got to work, decent hours so they can maybe work 4-day shifts and maybe work 8 hours a day.
Okay,
they get more time with their family. They need a reason to have a job.
But here's the question. No matter how much they get paid, do you really think that's going to stop them from wantonly killing people and forming gangs? They're not getting paid for the gangs.
No,
they're just doing it for fun.
If you keep an eye on that kind of thing and you change the way that their body cams work and you give them things that they just can't escape that accountability, and you immediately hold these new people accountable, you will never have that uprising happen. It can't. It's not possible. Maybe make it so that the body cams are live feed so that the supervisor at any point in time can flip on a body cam and see what's going on live in a situation. That's another add-on. This is a job. We're not talking about people's privacy. This is not what this is about. This is a job. you know. So
Absolutely.
why not be able to do that? And that's why the more avenues you do to keep this corruption away, when you're on the clock, your cam is on. You know, I mean, so you take a piss. Oh well, that's a bodily function. That's a normal part of people. It is what it is. I don't know. Maybe take your vest off. I don't know, but still, that's
Or
something
at
we
least
have to
turn
work
the
on.
sound off.
Aside
At
from-
least turn
yeah,
the sound off. I don't need to hear it.
whatever. You're allowed so many of those, whatever. You know, maybe there's a code you say into your phone. But I mean, also the camera can see that you're in a situation where, whatever. I'm just saying, you're going to have levels of corruption, but the more avenues that you can stop that from happening and keep honest people honest, and there you go. Because that's all the locks are for. Anyone's going to get into something if they want into it bad enough, but they just keep honest people from like, nah, that's too much effort. I don't want to get caught. It's not worth it, and they move on. But if it's honest person's going to do it anyway.
Let me ask you this: if they revamp the entire system and they get rid of, they get rid of all the gangs and whatnot, should they keep the honest cops or also get rid of them for?
I think that'd be vetted. In order to go back through the process, go through some form of vetting, maybe even get retrained, go back through school to some degree of it, see where they're tested out, whatever. I'd say see what their records say,
Because I believe that there are good cops, and I believe that if the
I
good
think
cops
they should be investigated. Because
I think if the good cops are good cops, then put them through the paces. Tell them,
sure,
if you want to stay a cop, you have to go through X amount of hours of retraining and this and that.
Sure.
And don't make it easy, but don't make it too difficult for them where nobody's going to do it. But you make it not too easy for them, and whoever sticks it out.
I think their finances need to be transparent too. That's another thing, because they deal with large sums of money, and I think have aspects of it. Well, no, all of it should be transparent. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with your money. If you want to buy, whatever, you can do that. You want to order Viagra online, there's nothing illegal about that. You want to order porn, nothing illegal about that. They can't say what is, they can't judge you based on what they find about you. Well, but if you're buying yachts and Porsches and putting all your kids in the friggin' Harvard schools, then maybe that's something worth looking at.
Cocaine and hookers.
Sure. And that's something you'd find out too, probably. There's a way to find that out as well. About how money's being spent, where are you at, so on. But if this corruption keeps happening to the level now, we have gangs that are potentially spreading throughout the country with our law enforcement. They brought this upon themselves. If they're not trustworthy part of our society, we have to find a way to ensure the trustworthiness of our law enforcement.
I understand that, and like you say, occasionally or once in a while, or in a very blue moon, that's why we need to vote. But let me point out that there's a place down south, I think it's either Tennessee or Kentucky, where they just passed a law saying that cops can carry guns under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, I saw something like that. That makes no sense to me.
No, that just tells me the whole fucking system there is corrupt.
Right.
It's not just random gangs in the police department. It's the whole system. And
we have to fix that system, and part of that is going to be voting, so we get the regulation and the laws in place that allow us to do what we need to do to fix it, and to monitor it as well. And we have to keep an eye on our law enforcement. They're not trustworthy enough we've left them on their own, and that doesn't work. I don't feel anywhere near as safe as I used to.
I hate to ask you this, but do you think that it's time to tear down the PVA? The police union.
Oh, no. Maybe not tear it down, but I think, because I don't know much about the union itself, but there needs to be a way for the union to exercise whatever bad might be in their union. If that is definitely the case, yeah. There needs to be a way for the union members to, well, actually there is. It's called voting. So once you start cleaning out all the trash, the anything in the upper leadership of the union is not going to be there for long, because they're going to be swept away. Because they're employees too. They're officers as well in the union membership. So once you clean all this crap out, well, you're going to be pulling those people out. They're going to be guilty of other things, or maybe they could be guilty of doing crimes within their union. I had that happen in my union, as in money crimes and stuff like that.
Okay, final question before we go. Civilian review boards, good or bad for the system?
Depends on the civilians. It really does. It depends on, I hate to say this, and I know it might put a bias, but I would trust a more liberal one over a more conservative one. Because I think the liberal one is going to be able to separate, or better odds of separating their bias. But either way, we need a blend of people. So that way we don't get one side leaning any way. We wind up getting a nice general consensus of what we should do. But yeah, the panel's only as good as the people that are on it. So if you put your shittiest people and put people that don't give a fuck about it, well, then that's what you're going to get. But if you get the right people on it, then they could be very, very good. Some of these things need to be more of a voluntary basis too. We need to keep money out of it, because some people do it just for the money. Maybe politicians need to be more voluntary, where they don't get a lot of money. A lot of them get houses. Why do they need additional money when all their expenses are taken care of?
Well, I think things like civilian review boards or civilian oversight committees, they should be paid, because that takes a lot of time. If you're covering every case, overseeing every case to make sure.
Oh no, I'm sure. I'm open to stuff. It's just, like I said, it's just a matter of who is in it.
Right.
Right. It's the people. It's not the fact that you have something like that. It's who's running it.
Well, Matt, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too, man.
I just hope I can sleep at night knowing the minute I walk out the door, who knows what's going to be out there.
You're right.
But we'll find out soon enough. When I say within the next 4 years, it's either going to be go big or go home.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that. There are many, many things.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling by then, a lot of things are going to be very hard to dismiss. It's just going to be so blatant. You're not going to be able to hide with, well, I don't know. No, it's here, man. Whatever it is you're talking about, all these subjects are going to be big suns. No way to avoid what side you're on.
All right, Matt. I know your opinion. You know my opinion. I hope that people can leave their opinions down in the comment section below. And with that, I say good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Peace.